Live from Cleveland, Ohio, I'm Malika Andrews. And hey, look, the crew, we all made it through the night. Kendrick Perkins, Shanae Agumake, Richard Jefferson, and Adrian Wojnarowski, hosts of the Woj Pod, a new episode out today with Kobe Altman. But Woj, I do want to start with you because just 2 nights ago, Anthony Davis, he went down clutching at his right foot after landing on Rudy Gobert's foot awkwardly. And then the news that Lakers fans didn't want to hear. The team said that he is going to miss some time, which is not good considering where the Lakers are currently sitting in the standings. So Woj, what more can you tell us about his timeline?
Yeah, the Lakers are saying it's a month before he's reevaluated. I'm told the hope is they can at least get Anthony Davis back in the lineup and playing during the regular season. There's only 6 weeks left in the season once we come out of All-Star break. And you have a Laker team right now in 9th place in the West, 4 games below 500. You know, that's trying to hold on to the play-in. And so I think for the Lakers, they've got to be able to find a way to hang in there, get a healthy Anthony Davis back before the postseason, and then try to make a run. But they will have dug a pretty deep hole at that point to try to make a run in the postseason.
Absolutely. Like you said, just 6 weeks left, and we're hearing that Anthony Davis now is going to be reevaluated after 4 weeks. But this isn't the first time that we've seen Anthony Davis's health be a concern this year. So, Perk, how should the Lakers approach his viability moving forward here?
I don't know. I mean, seriously, we keep talking about the Lakers, but here's the honest answer, right? The Lakers are dead bird tall grass. I mean, like, at the end of the day, we came into this season knowing that it was championship or bust. They're not going to win a championship. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, even AD returning, like, if he returns, is he going to be 100%? Like, you know, they got a hard schedule remaining. They have teams that are surging for us, like the Portland Trail Blazers are playing excellent basketball. The Pelicans are right there on their heels like a pair of socks. So I really don't know what to say about this, except that they're not going to accomplish their goal this season.
And you mentioned the schedule remaining. The Lakers actually have the hardest schedule remaining right now in the NBA. So without AD, it's going to be much more difficult because that was the anchor of your defense. But I'm looking at the next 10 games at least, because one thing Perk and I agreed on yesterday, hallelujah, was the fact that, all right, they have to be able to play with effort and energy. Those are necessities for them to compete. The fact that we're talking about the Lakers competing is wild, but at this moment, I think LeBron James, you maximize on him being available. He's missed about, 17 or so games, so no minutes restriction. Just see if they can stay afloat, and then if they stay afloat, can they be in position for the playoffs, and then hope that AD can come back.
Here we go.
Why would you, here we go, what? I'm saying, why would you kill LeBron James right now and try and play 42 minutes and play him 42 minutes? I'm not saying dial his minutes back, but ultimately, you look at this team. You have to win 16 games to win a championship. 16 games. These guys have won 27 this season. So, and we're at the All-Star break, and that is not a disrespect. That's just the reality of the situation. So even if you're like, well, if they get there and get healthy, maybe they can make a run. They're not making a run of 16 wins against the most elite competition.
I think a lot of the detractors are saying, all right, shut them down or start things over. You don't have AD. That's not the case. What I'm here to say is that, I live in LA, right? So do you, RJ. We know and now that's Malika, yay.
Hey.
We know that it's not like you quit on a team.
No,
so,
not in LA.
Yeah, not in LA. So I think the reality here is that they just have to play with effort, try to stay afloat, get in the playoffs, and hopefully make some good ending out of this.
Well, let's
remember, and they got in the postseason last year. They had Phoenix until AD went down against Phoenix.
They were up 2-1.
They were up in the series. And so, listen, I agree. I don't think they have enough to get in the postseason, make a run, win a title. But they could still give somebody trouble if they're all healthy, if they're all there. Can they get to April with that being the case?
Right, but
Davis and Russell Westbrook there. Russell Westbrook, because of the turnovers and because of the kind of season that he's had with his struggles. In the case of Anthony Davis, here's why I throw him in there. I know that these are legit injuries. He's fragile. That makes him unreliable. There are people in the NBA that have repeatedly looked at Anthony Davis, and not just his injuries, they've asked, is he in shape? Is he ready to go? Does he understand who he's playing with and how ready he needs to be in order for these Lakers to be relevant? I don't definitively know the answer to it. Sometimes I look at him and I question his conditioning. Other times I look at him and I say, well, he's gotten bigger and he needed to, but it has been an accusation and an allegation that's been thrown in his direction. And because of that, combined with the way LeBron James looks, 37 years of age, 19th year in the league, averaging 29 points a game when he's a career 27 point per game scorer. The fact that he can't rely on Anthony Davis for whatever reason is an indictment against Anthony Davis.
I'm going to point the finger at Rob Pelinka. That's who's going to look the worst. That's who's going to look the worst. One is because first he allowed, instead of doing his job and manning the hell up, he allowed the players, meaning AD and LeBron James, to dictate this roster in the first place. Okay, and then here comes the trade deadline. And you make no moves at all. You stand still and tell the world we're just going to wait for the buyout market. It's no damn buyout market. All the groceries are gone.
Perk. Adding to the Lakers' issues, it's something that I referenced a few moments ago. They have the third hardest remaining schedule in the NBA. Not only in terms of opponents' win percentage, but only 4 of their last 14 games are at home. 2 of their first 4 games out of the break are against the Clips, and they're a game and a half back of them for the 8th spot in the West.
All right, so that was last night, back with our crew and senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski. So, Woj, what more can you tell us about the latest on Anthony Davis's injury?
Well, the MRI is today to see if there's any, to really get a sense of the severity of the injury, if there's any ligament damage. Our Dave McMenamin reported that he's going to be out at least 2 weeks. I'm told, that's going to be on the I think that's a conservative estimate. Of course, one of those weeks, there are no games, and so that's good news for the Lakers. They have the All-Star break here, but the x-rays were clean last night, and the Lakers will know more when they get the results back of that MRI, but it's clear they're going to have to play more games without Anthony Davis as they come back, for the stretch run of this season right now, sitting in 9th place in the West, and with Portland now on their heels in that play-in group.
Absolutely, and we've already seen Anthony Davis miss a significant amount of time this season. But heading into last night's game, Caesars Sportsbook was projecting that the Lakers not make the top 8 seeds in the West. So now, with Anthony Davis down, how can the Lakers win games for the foreseeable future, Perk?
Well,
I'm curious.
I swear, I was
y'all
thinking.
Starting early.
Look, we keep talking about it, but here's the thing. 1, more minutes for Dwight Howard. We saw what Braun is capable of doing, but here's the thing. Russell Westbrook has to step up. I know we keep talking about it, but here's his time to shut up all the haters, all the people that said he has lost it. He's on the decline. It's his time. I want to see some 30-point nights. I want to see him and LeBron James be able to coexist. He has no excuse whatsoever. AD is out of the picture. He has to elevate his game. That's what's up for the Lakers.
What do you think, Rich?
I don't think that there is truly a way. I'm not even being I'm being a little bit on the grumpy side, but it's just look, they were losing games. You talked about Portland being on the heels. They lost to Portland when all 3 of them played. And you're losing the guy that's supposed to anchor their defense and give you 20 points a game on the inside and do so many different things. He was the guy that was supposed to help Russ's game get better because they were supposed to have that pick and roll game together. So there's just so many things that you lose with AD that you already didn't have when he was playing. So I'm not saying that the Lakers season is over with, but what is the ceiling for them? The 8th seed? We don't spend that much time talking about the 8th seed on this show.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And I do think that by removing the safety net, we'll now see what the Lakers are made of. We know LeBron James is going to show up and show out. He had 33 and 8 last night and 6. And so he's going to provide what is necessary. The question is, like Perk said, will Russ step up as well? Will they rely more on team defensive principles and not have that safety net that is a helicopter in the paint behind them? They were not a great defensive team, even when AD played when he came back, and now the talent is on them. You're right. When we come to the Lakers and the discussion about them, it's always championship or bust. But I do think at this stage in LeBron James's career, it's get in the playoffs and we will have a chance, and then hopefully buy AD some time so that we can make some noise. So I'm not saying that the season is completely lost. We will see what they're made of in the next 10 or so games, if they can piece it all together, buy AD some time, and see if they can make noise in the playoffs. But it gets harder and harder and harder with each game.
Well, besides the loss to Portland, and by the way, Portland has been beating a lot of people. We can say what they want. They got a great win in Memphis just last night, but the thing that I'm looking and I'm figuring out the Lakers are doing right now, they're playing with effort. Like, you can fix your face, but even the game against Golden State, like, they played with effort. Like, you seeing guys fight over screens. You seeing guys do all the little things that matter.
But the fact that we're talking about a veteran, grown man team, like, hey, they brought the effort today. And the only reason why you're talking about it is because it was lacking for the first 40 games. And so now we're complimenting them on getting back on defense, on boxing out. This is what the team that everyone had favored to win a championship. We're complimenting them on effort.
We're actually complimenting them on beating one of the top teams in the Western Conference last night when they were down double digits. That was a quality win against the Utah Jazz. That was very healthy. So at the end of the day, man, look, man, get all that bad energy out of you, dog. I'm not trying to start today.
So, okay, does anybody here on this panel, sorry, Malik, I'm going to ask one question. Anybody here on this panel have the Lakers out of the first round?
That's fair enough. I mean, they
okay,
did get a good win over the Utah Jazz. Portland won 4 in a row, so they've been streaking a little bit. LeBron, though, he's going to be the lone representative for the Lakers at All-Star this weekend. But one man that's going to be playing for his team is DeMar DeRozan. And last night.